hold on, actually. Give me 1 second. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Right as we go live.
Well,
Hey, Gary.
we're live, so we might as well start and then
Okay, we'll
we
just
can
bring
jump
in.
back in.
All right, cool. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Knights of the Turntable, the definitive hip-hop podcast via the Coalition. I am your host, Charles Singletary. This is episode 5, by the way. I got that right the first time this time. And sorry for the week delay. It's been busy, but I've got my guests with me. I've got Joe.
Yo, what's up?
All right, and I've got Gary.
Hey, what's up? Good to be back.
And I think that I may have Matt.
Yeah, you should have me. How we doing?
Word. I'm glad to have you all. We should have another guest jump in later on. I'll introduce him as he appears. But if not, we'll just keep moving. Let's start it all off with what everyone's been listening to. Gary, I already know what Gary's been listening to, so we can definitely go ahead and knock that out real quick.
Gary's just dropped last night.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, dude.
I woke up this morning, I saw a new EP had dropped from G Unit, The Beauty of Independence, so I've been bumping that heavy today. It's a great EP, man. Like, the songs are dope. Even for, G Unit level, because I know a lot of people, they on Tony Yayo and Kid Kid, but I think both of them were dope on this EP. So yeah, Changes is definitely the standout track for me right now. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I listened to a bit of the Dilated People's album too.
All right, we're definitely gonna talk more about that a little bit later. How about you, Matt? What have you been listening to?
One of my favorite independent artists, Watsky. I don't know if any of you know who he is.
I'm actually not familiar.
No, yeah, he dropped a new album this week called All You Can Do, and it's pretty awesome.
Word up. How about you, Joe?
So it just dropped today, and I know that I'm going to be listening to it for a while. So the new Ty Dolla $ign, The Sign Language. I've only heard like one track off of it because it dropped when I was at work. There's this dude out of Atlanta. He goes by I Love McConan, and Drake remixed his Club Going Up on a Tuesday song, and I've had that on repeat for like a while now. And then the Travis Scott Days Before Rodeo was Flames.
Yep, I have to agree with you. That's one of the ones I've been listening to. Travis Scott, I've been listening to Static Selector's What Goes Around. Russ, How to Rob, and Mick Jenkins, The Waters. I've been listening to all of that, trying to catch up on a lot of the releases that came out. I skipped that G Unit. I don't know if I'll go back to it, but I've heard great things about Changes. I've seen that pop up like everywhere, so I'm definitely going to at least listen to that. Because, I mean, it's G Unit. They got to at least have one, right?
Digital Scale too, that's a good time.
All right, but let's go ahead and jump into the first topic. We spoke on the battle rap stuff previously with, the Hollow to Don versus Joe Budden thing, and now we have the next official rap battler versus industry battle with Disaster versus Cassidy becoming official. And it's supposed to go down in L.A. I'm not sure exactly when, I think later this year at a Fresh Coast event. Okay. I will start with Gary. How do you feel about this news, man?
I mean, I kind of feel like Disaster doesn't deserve that battle right now. If you would have like asked me about that 2 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, that would be a cool battle. But going off of how Disaster's been lately, like I don't even think he's as good as he used to be. And then the whole Math Hoffa thing as well. I kind of feel like he doesn't deserve the battle. I think I would have liked to have seen a lot of other battle rappers go up against Cassidy. But it is good that he's finally stepping into the ring because, he's been claiming the whole battle thing for a while. So it's good to finally see him step in the ring with all these new age battle rappers and everything because, it's at a higher level of talent now than it was when he battled Freeway. So it'll be interesting to see how he translates.
I got to agree with you. Especially on the Disaster point where right this second he doesn't deserve it. But I can't lie. I am very excited that Disaster got it because of how he dismantled cannabis.
Yeah. Do you think Cassidy will end up like cannabis though?
I don't think he'll end up like that. Um, I will put this on record now that I think Disaster is still going to destroy him, but I don't think it's going to be where Cass like messes up and has to pull out a freaking a tablet and read his verses off during the battle or something like that. I don't think it'll be that bad. I just think Cassidy is out of touch with today's battle rap. And Disaster, who has one of the more diverse flows out of anyone, and seriously, when he's on, he's on. I just don't think Cassidy can touch his level of talent. Even back in the day when Cassidy was hot, I don't think he would have defeated a Disaster, today's Disaster or yesterday's Disaster. Now, Joe, I know you're not as invested. We're trying to drag you into the world of rap battle, but how do you feel about it?
So from an outsider's perspective, of somebody who doesn't know the culture of battle rap, to me, I know Cassidy came up as a battle rapper, but right now, Cassidy hasn't really done anything in like the last, I don't know, like the last 4 or 5 years, I guess.
Except beef with Meek Mills, right?
That's about it. So what I'm taking from this is Cassidy he's trying to be a leech and trying to like get his name out there again. So he's gonna leech off of somebody else's name and try to like use that to project him back up.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely gonna be good for his buzz. How do you feel, Matt?
I don't know a ton about battle rap either, but I was actually reading on battlerap.com here on their article. He was actually offered, Cassidy was offered $250,000 to take the battle. I don't know how that's true, but like
that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's some end of the day. It's cash. Like that shows that this could be a cash money business, and fuck it.
It seems to be a new trend in battle rap too. Like they're getting industry artists now to battle, all the newer guys and stuff.
Right.
So I think this trend might continue.
I hope it doesn't continue with that kind of pay. Well, okay, I retract that. Not necessarily having that type of pay, but I hope there's not a huge gap between what he gets paid and what Disaster gets paid, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess.
I think there will be, though, because I can see Disaster, like, taking, like, just pennies for this battle, just because he knows if he dismantles cannabis, like, the publicity he'll get from that is way worth.
Tremendous, yeah. But the thing is, on the flip side, Cassidy is regaining some kind of limelight by this battle. If anything, I would say after the Total Slaughter event, Cassidy needs this more than Rap Battle needs this, in my opinion. What do you guys think? What do you think, Gary?
Cassidy needs it more than Battle Rap does.
Yeah.
He's kind of slipping away from relevancy. So, yeah, this would make him relevant, especially if he won, but I doubt he will.
Yeah, because like if they were paying out to someone like Eminem or something, then I feel different. Because I'm like, then, there's something to gain when you have Eminem on there. The only thing that's to gain for the rap battles is like bragging rights at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, because the money will always be there for battle rappers, like, because they keep the culture going, period. Right. So they're always going to be around.
Yeah, they're going to have steady money. They're going to have battles coming in, time and time again. But these industry guys aren't going to stay in this rap battle circuit. What do you think, Joe? And do you think that they need it more?
I think Cassidy needs it more. But I think, because I don't know if you guys saw the news, but apparently Drake wants to battle Murder Mook. So I think that Cassidy needs this one, but I think that Battle Rap could use the Drake one.
Right. That's a similar situation where Drake, his notoriety is a lot higher than what Cassidy's is.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Drake doesn't want to do that, man. He doesn't want none of it, man.
No, he's not. He's not built. He's not built for this at all. Like, that would be devastating.
It'd be like Jordan going to play baseball.
Exactly. Like, Drake is not a name that you would think as far as and was it Drake that said that he wanted to battle Murder Mook or the other way
Drake?
around?
Yeah, no. Drake said that he wants to battle Murder Mook.
Man, he's not gonna do it. Him saying that gets him enough publicity. He's just gonna leave it at that. How about you, Matt? Who do you think needs it more?
Like, if you go back and watch that Cassidy versus Freeway battle, like, Cassidy won that. Like, Cassidy's not as people always say fell off, but the dude's been around for a while. Like, I don't know. I think he needs it more.
Yeah, I gotta agree. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'm sure we're gonna talk about it once the actual battle goes down. And you know, fingers crossed, it's not as bad as Total Slaughter. But the Fresh Coast stuff, that's rap battle territory. So I don't think it'll be that bad. But and to the next topic, it's a pretty big one. We're halfway, a little bit over halfway into 2014, and we've. You know, a lot of people say it's been a dry spell, but I think we've got a lot of artists that have been dropping things. Maybe not a lot of mainstream guys that have dropped solid content, but there's been projects all over the place. And my question is, who is the dopest artist that you've heard this year so far? And I'm going to pressure Matt first with this question.
Pressure me?
Yeah.
All right. It kind of goes back to one of the what I was recently listening to. Like, I think George Watsky, he's a slam poet out of, I can't remember what city, but like he's a white kid.
Oh, did we lose signal?
Can you hear me, or did I cut out?
Yeah, I got you. It cut out for a second, but I can hear you.
All right, well, dude's got this great flow. Like, everything is super constructed. Like, what slam poetry is, it's like competitive poetry. So the dude grew up on, proper form, and he happens to have an amazing flow and a social message. His videos are really well produced. I found him earlier this year. He's been on some of those epic rap battles. I don't know if anyone watches those on YouTube, but he's been in like 2 or 3 of those.
I watch all of those, and
yeah,
can you recall which one he is?
He's Edgar Allan Poe.
Enough said.
And he's George Watsky. George Watsky's the shit. Like, I love the dude's flow, and he's Shakespeare. He also did Shakespeare.
Yeah, he did some great ones, man. I didn't know that he did stuff outside of that, so I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, Watsky's great. He's got like 3 LPs, and they're all just pretty solid. This one's especially, the new one he just released this year, is especially good.
All right, good. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Gary, your turn. No G Unit, please.
Yeah, no, I actually wouldn't say any G Unit. I think the best new artist I've heard is probably that dude Quest, because when you had that song on the playlist, I can't remember the name of it, but that really impressed me. And I also want to kind of say Kendrick, because I'm still bumping his album.
No, can't have Kendrick on the list.
Okay.
Kendrick has not put out
so it's only
new material this year.
Albums this year.
Yeah.
Albums and not singles, right?
Even if they drop singles, it would count, but Kendrick hasn't done either of those.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll go with Quest.
All right. That totally took my answer, but I'll figure something out. How about you, Joe?
Man, this is tough because I listen to so much damn music. You know what? One album that I do keep finding myself going back to time and time again this year is oh crap! It's Kevin Gates. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's the one that he dropped it right around the same time as Freddie Gibbs and Madlib dropped that Cocaine Pinata. And
so it's the one after Luca Brasi, right?
Yeah. Luca Brasi was last year, and then this one. Oh man, it's slipping my mind. I can't even remember the title of it, but it's phenomenal. Like, Kevin Gates is like. He's just one of those artists that, like, people aren't going to appreciate until, like, years down the road. Like, that's just how I feel about Kevin Gates. But that project from this year, seriously, like, I go back to it about once, every few weeks or so.
Is By Any Means?
Yes, that is the name of it. I don't know why. I listened to it last week.
All right, man. Like, I think me and you talked about the whole Kevin Gates thing before, where somebody mentioned or suggested the Luca Brasi story to me, and I went into it. I don't know why, I think it was more because of who recommended it. I went into it expecting some super lyrical artist,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I heard it, I was like, oh, it wasn't immediately bad, but I wasn't in the right mindset to listen to what I heard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people talk about Kevin Gates, so eventually I am going to listen to Luca Brasi, Stranger Than Fiction, and By Any Means.
There was actually a song that dropped like a couple hours before we hopped on here. It's a new Starlito song called Ballin', and he's on there on the last verse, and he absolutely destroyed that song. And like Starlito is no slouch.
All right, yeah, I know you're a big Starlito fan, big time. But because he's one of the Step Brothers.
Yeah, him and Don Tripp.
Yeah, I listened to a few of his things off your recommendation. He is pretty dope. But now it's on me, and Quest was easily my answer.
Yo, go for it, man, because you probably have a lot more to say than I do. So.
Cool, because like, I mean, I'll give my second best as well, but Quest is definitely the best one that I've heard in a while. Because like, I enjoyed his music before, when he wasn't signed to VMG, and he was doing some different things with it. Because like there was a couple songs where he mixed in some dubstep with it, and I thought it was dope, and I thought he was gonna stay in that lane, but he just didn't captivate people as quickly as he wanted. And the thing is, I think that was only because of the music choice he did, because lyrically the dude is sick. Like his pen game is ridiculous, and I have to say I was guilty of being one of the people that wanted to hear it on more traditional beats and stuff and see what he sounded like. So when he started doing all of that after he signed with VMG, like dude is on a tear, and it's incredible to hear the stuff that he's been putting out. And I think that, you know, Logic, are y'all familiar with Logic?
Not really. I mean, I know who he is, but that's about it.
Yeah, I've heard the name. I haven't heard the music.
Same.
What about you, Matt? Same?
Yeah.
No disrespect to Logic. Logic is dope. But I really think, and I mentioned him because he's the owner of VMG, or the leader of it. I don't know if he's the owner, but he's like the poster child for that label as artists go. But I think Quest is much more deserving of it. And I think when Searching Sylvan comes out on the 2nd, which we have like a week, I think we'll get to see that, because he outshines a lot of people in the game lyrically right now. But to give my backup, I'll have to say Alex Wiley. He's out of Chicago, and he did Village. I can't remember the first. Club Wiley, actually.
Yeah, Club Wiley. The Village Party was this year.
Yeah, Club Wiley was the first time I heard him, and I was like, this dude is absolutely nuts. But I thought he was going to drop that and like fizzle out, and then he did Village Party in like no time. Like he said, it didn't take him very long to do it, and I was blown away. And I can't wait to hear more from this guy. And he's been doing a couple feature verses on people's things, but not really anybody outside of Chicago, sadly. But I do want to hear him collaborate with bigger artists. But they better be prepared to get the whole Renegade treatment, because his flow is ridiculous, and he will destroy some people on a track.
See, I don't know about that though, because like I listened to Village Party, and like it just I don't know if it was like the mindset thing that you talked about with the Luca Brasi thing, but right. it really didn't do anything for me. Like I was kind of listening, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, whatever, but it was just like, all right, that's it.
The Village Party project was it was really atmospheric and stuff, and it seems like a lot of the time they were letting the music do the talking, most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a Kid Cudi joint. But when he does spit, I think he's one of the better ones to do it. Now, I'm not gonna say he's saying anything particularly enlightening, because he's definitely not. But the way he's saying it and the flow that he has, and how he the variations between it, which I know Matt has a great appreciation for things like that, like the rhyming patterns and all that.
For sure. Yeah.
That's what I like from him, and that's why I said I want to hear him on more traditional beats and with other artists and stuff. Hear his features.
Logic?
No, that's Alex Wiley.
Okay, Alex Wiley.
Yeah, because I mean, Logic does the whole boom bap kind of
right.
New York rap type thing anyway. But Alex Wiley, I want him to bring his style to the other stuff, because he has a really, I mean, the dude already has a unique look to him. And his flow is pretty unique too, so it'll be interesting here. But I'm definitely going to share some more stuff from him on the site.
Can I say something real fast?
Shoot.
I thought Alex Wiley was white.
Everyone did. All right. Did you see? All right. We posted a video on the Coalition, his last video for Splash Game.
Okay.
And I don't know if you watched it, but at one point its subtitles say yes he's white. I mean no, it says yes he's black. He's not white. And like, because I was the same way when LJ showed me his stuff, or he played the song first, and then I watched the video. I was like, whoa, like, you know, this dude's saying nigga a whole lot, like every other word. I was like, who is this guy? He looks like Andy Milonakis. And I think he's embracing that now. But you have to watch the Splash Game video. You and Matt. I don't know if Gary already watched it.
All right, I'll watch that.
Gotcha.
I actually think I posted that. I think I posted that not too long ago.
Gotcha. So my third favorites are actually in this next topic that we're going to go over. We're doing the Copper Flop segment where a new project come out, we all listen to it, and we're going to let you know via our collective opinions if it's worth a listen or not. We listened to Dilated People's Directors of Photography and Sesh Crew's Ego Stripping project, which Sesh Crew is from Strange Music with Tech Nine and all of them, and that's the group that I think is another up and coming this year, because their flow and the chemistry between the two artists is really incredible. But we're going to start talking about Directors of Photography, because Gary, you listened to that one, correct?
Yeah.
And can you give us your opinion on it?
Yeah, I think it's a really good project. I've liked a lot of their prior work too, but this album is real smooth. I like the Alchemist joint. I think it's called I Like to Cut My Teeth or something. That's probably like my favorite so far. I need to give it some more listens though. I only listened to it like once. But
you weren't aware of them beforehand.
I was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've listened to them in the past, but not recently. Not over the past few years, nothing.
Gotcha.
But so far from what I've heard, I'd give this album a cop personally.
Okay. All right. How about you, Matt?
Are we talking about the Dilated Peoples? Hello?
Yeah, Dilated
my
Peoples.
I really liked that album. I thought, I never really listened to their old stuff. I knew they existed, but they were one of those bands or groups that was just on kind of my to list and never really did. I liked this album. I thought it was full of really good beats, intricate flow. It was a little bit throwback in a way. I kind of thought of shit like Black Star a little bit. And it was cool to see. I thought the compatibility between the MCs was just really well done, and I liked this one a lot.
Word. Joe?
I'm like Matt. Like I've never really listened to Dilated Peoples. Like I've just never. It didn't interest me enough to listen to them. Like when I was younger, but the album was cool. It was just. I guess it's not for me.
Gotcha.
It's really like mellow and chill.
I like some turn up in my music.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to be down with the DJ Premier's, Jake One type production, the boom bap type of stuff, Ninth Wonder, that kind of stuff to really vibe with the Dilated People stuff, which I love that stuff. So I enjoyed the project. I didn't get to listen to it as much as I did the Sesh Crew one, and I'm going to have to go back and listen. But it's definitely something I would say is a cop versus a flop. And now we can talk about Sesh Crew real quick, and I will start with Matt.
I also like this one. This is gonna have to be a cop for me. Like, it was a different style of flow, and I like what they're calling it, like strange hop or whatever. And it is a little bit in ways. The beats are different, the flows are different. There's still some potent lyrical stuff there, but it's still in a different style. I really like this release from Strange Music, and I'm kind of excited to see what else comes from them.
Yeah, they're them being a newer edition. Like they did some
Right.
features, well, tech stuff and the Strange Elation tape, and they're an interesting couple guys, especially when you see like their visuals and stuff. But they are really dope. What did you think, Joe? Did you get a chance to listen to Sesh Group?
I got a chance to listen to the single that I saw posted for the album review. I think it ran on Hip Hop DX, and that single was dope, and it made me want to listen to them a lot more. Like, and I never thought that I would ever say that about like a Strange Music release, because that typically that like I like different sounding music, but that's kind of my boundary. Is like once it gets to Strange Music, I know it's gonna be like weird. So, but they made me want to check it out a little bit more. So I would probably cop it.
You know, that makes me very proud that you're down with the Strange project now. Because I think I've sent you a couple of Tech Nine tracks and you just weren't really feeling them that much.
That and the drive home from South by Southwest, we had to listen to nothing but Tech Nine when you were driving.
Yep. I'll throw some Sesh Crew in there next time then. Sure. How about you, Gary?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not get around to listening to the project, but you know, I heard good things about it, and I like Tech Nine and a lot of the people on Strange Music, so I will check it out at some point, but I can't comment it right now.
Gotcha. Hey, that's cool, but you definitely take a chance to listen to it because of the two, even though I say it's a cop, I think they're both a cop. I like the Sesh Crew one more, just because of like the coherence between the tracks and their flow, and the sequencing of the project is really good. Like, and they sometimes they just jump into things you don't even know the track changed, and I like stuff like that. I don't know, that may be weird, but I think that was really dope. And yeah, Joe, the single, I've been playing the crap out of the single. I can't remember the name of it, but I've been playing it a lot. But let's go ahead and jump into the next topic, which is another big one. And I got to figure out who I'm going to put the pressure on for this. But let's discuss the best rapper of all time.
Oh,
now,
actually,
That's a tough one.
this one we can is dead or alive, doesn't matter. Let's go with Gary on this one. We'll start with you, sir.
Okay, I thought a long time about this. It was really tough trying to decide. I had to go with Eminem, man. I know it's the cliche answer, but as far as lyricism goes, you know, his early projects, like he's just on another level to, you know, anybody I've heard, period, in hip hop. Like when M is at his best, like there's no matching him. So, I mean, another name I was thinking of was Big L because he's one of my all-time favorites. But
Word.
you know, I had to go with M. So,
All right. Well, to part B of that question on Eminem, what's something that he's done in hip hop that you think makes him stand out to you a lot? Like it could be a project, it could be a particular song, a particular verse. When you think Eminem, what's the first thing you think of?
when I
man,
think
unless,
Eminem, besides the racial thing, I'm not gonna go there. 'Cause you know, that's too obvious. I just think like using your talent and your skill to get somewhere and, you know, change people, affect people on a worldwide basis. Like, you know, that's what he's done. You know, he put a lot of passion, put a lot of practice into his lyricism, and, you know, now he's on top of the hip hop game. So, I mean, when I think of him, I just think, you know, utilizing your skills.
Word. How about you, Matt? Were you saying something about the Eminem thing earlier?
yeah, like whenever I think of Eminem, the first thing that comes to mind is that first verse of "Lose Yourself," just because of how well
Man,
that
yes.
verse is so well put together. Like it just pops in my head. Like the pretty much every word in that first verse rhymes or has some sort of technique connecting it
Oh
to
yeah,
another word in another line. Like the way it flows and moves is just absolutely incredible.
Like
And
we grew up rapping that. Like that happened
Yeah.
like when we were all like 14, 15, 16. Like we grew up rapping that. Like we know that verse like word by word.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's favorite M songs, but mine personally is Rock Bottom from Slim Shady LP. And I
Okay.
like the Marshall Mathers LP better, but that song just really stood out to me.
Word up, word up. Marshall Mathers LP is my favorite as well. But I can agree. Lose Yourself. Like as soon as you started to say something, I was like, Lose Yourself is definitely my standout moment for
yeah,
Eminem. But what would be your artist, Matt?
I'm gonna have to say like it's not gonna be everyone's favorite artist, um, but I have to give it to Aesop Rock for what he does and how he does it. There's no one exactly like him. Like, not only the way that he puts together rhymes is very intricate and complex, but his like he makes references to like classical philosophy and like all sorts of just really kind of metaphorical weird shit, man. And but it's the way it's put together. Like I have to like nobody can copy Aesop Rock's style. Like you can't really like I can't think of anyone else that can put words together in such a fashion and um, have it sound anything remotely like Aesop Rock. Like I've heard artists try, and it often sounds like nothing. Like it's poorly imitated, but
Gotcha.
Aesop's just kind of does what he does, and I love it. It's my favorite.
And what's your standout for Aesop?
I stand out for Aesop. Um, he did an album in 2001 called Labor Days, and Labor Days is just chocked full of it, really good tracks from start to finish. The production's all done by a guy named Blockhead. I love the production work all throughout it. Aesop's got like an insane flow, and I remember somebody handed that to me when I was in high school, and I've never stopped listening to Aesop Rock. Aesop Rock is one of the reasons like was one of the first artists that made me step back and go, huh, it's not all about like bitches, ass, and anything like that. Boasting like Aesop Rock is what made me fall in love with hip hop. Really, like
There it is. I hear you, man. That's dope. And I actually do. I know some people that would agree with you that are big Aesop fans. I'm not one of them just because I haven't listened to as much of his stuff as I should have. I listened to Skeleton. I think that's what it's
it
called.
was alright. Like it was good, but I
Yeah.
still think like his 2007 release and his 2001 release are way better than that.
Gotcha. I'll check Labor Days because I really hadn't had anyone to tell me, where to start with his stuff. I just listened to Skeleton because I was on a like Rhyme Sayers kick right then, and that dropped, and I was like,
Right.
go ahead and listen to this. Yeah. Joe Hova. I'm interested to see where you're gonna go with this one.
I mean, yeah, he already know.
You gonna say Gucci?
Oh hell no. No, like the reason like I even started listening to hip hop was Jay-Z. Like before that, I grew up in a household like my mom listened to R&B music, so I was I listened to like TLC and Prince and Michael Jackson, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And my dad, he always played like the the older rock like Skinner and Aerosmith and that type of stuff. So I grew up like with those two bass lines.
Word.
And then I didn't discover hip hop until I was in like 6th grade. So like I followed Jay-Z's career from that time that I discovered it, which was Hard Knock Life. Like I followed that from like 1998 until like I was old enough to like purchase everything. And it's just I can't even explain why I think he's the best. Like it's just I mean from a commercial standpoint, yeah, he's probably I'm not I think M has sold more records than him. But from a commercial standpoint, to always have a #1 album and you've released like 13 albums, like that's nuts. So, and it's just like his lyrical content too. Like it's just, it blows my mind sometimes.
One
Yeah,
thing I
definitely.
can see, yeah, I can respect Jay-Z a lot. I think today it's not even a matter of him being one of the better rappers. I think he was one of the better rap businessmen. Period. And I think that translates a lot to his rap style and like the decisions he makes as far as like features and everything to keep himself relevant. Because we talked about him being a vampire.
Yeah. And you know what? And you know what? I agree with that. I agree that he's. I don't think he's fallen up to the point where Twitter has said, "Oh, all of his verses are trash now."
No, because they said his feature on that Kendrick verse was trash, and it wasn't. It was far from trash.
It doesn't matter. The blueprint will always be great. Like,
yeah.
I think at the end of the day, you just always go back to the blueprint and go, Jay-Z was fantastic for what he was at the time.
And that's the thing. Like, people are expecting them to have this blueprint caliber rhymes. Like, here it is, 2014. That's 13 years ago.
Right.
Like, I'm at a point in his career where I don't care what he raps about. He's rapping for fun now because he doesn't have anything to prove. He's proved he's the greatest and the best.
Yeah, and in mainstream hip hop, I don't think there's anyone that can do it better as far as mainstream and the popularity. Yeah, he's got that locked in, and he makes his adjustments just the right time. Just like the whole Death of Auto-Tune thing. Like his placement of his tracks and what he does is part of what makes him great.
I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Exactly. And the word manipulate has a negative connotation to it, but Jay-Z can manipulate the market like no other artist.
Yep.
And people need to understand that. And they need to understand that and not come in my Twitter mentions talking about him being the best rapper. Like rap-wise, flow-wise, they better get out my mentions with that. Right. But I can respect them being the rap businessman and being one of the better ones to do it. Absolutely. Now, for mine, as much as I want to say Nas, just because you said Jay.
I was thinking. I was like, maybe somebody. I wonder if somebody will say Nas. Somebody said Jay.
You know what? I'm gonna stick with Nas because the other artists that I would mention, like Brother Ali, Black Thought.
Okay.
Those two are the other two, and even Lupe Fiasco, even amidst all the freaking nonsense.
Black Thought's Roots, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, even amongst all the nonsense with Lupe's just whining and everything else, he's still one of the illest artists to ever do it. Brother Ali and Black Thought, like I have this joke with y'all all the time with Joe, the whack verse watch, where like we're just waiting for somebody to put a whack verse out. Black Thought hasn't put one out.
Black Thought's. I don't think Black Thought's even put one in a recording booth ever.
No, he's never dropped a whack verse, in my opinion. And I feel the same way about Brother Ali. He's never dropped a whack verse. And even Fonte from Lil Brother never dropped a whack verse. But
Ali was a battle rapper at one point.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And but Nas is similar. The way you feel about Jay is how I feel about Nas. That's when I fell in love with hip hop.
Illmatic was fantastic.
Illmatic wasn't even my first project from Nas that I listened to.
No.
It Was Written was my first one, and it's still my favorite to this day. Illmatic, And
you know what's crazy? Like, we've been seeing a lot of people talk on Twitter recently that It Was Written is better than Illmatic.
No way.
No, I disagree. Now, here's the thing. With every artist, I can have where they have classic albums, and then they have my favorites, and those may be different.
Right.
And I can recognize when one album is better by its influence because Illmatic is incredible. It is one of the staples and foundations of hip hop, in my opinion. But I enjoyed personally It Was Written more for the things that I related to and what I heard at that time. That's why I like it more. Like with Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt is ill, but that's not my favorite album from him. That actually kind of fluctuates between Blueprint and the Black Album.
Those are the top 3 J albums. Like any J fan is going to say that those are the top 3 J albums, and they can go in a different order every day.
American Gangster too. A lot of people forget about American Gangster. Like there's between Jay-Z and Nas, there's 2 albums that people always forget about. Nas, Distant Relatives. Everybody forgets about that freaking album. That's the one with the Marley brother.
Oh yeah.
That album
was a pretty good record too.
Is dope, and I put that up there with one of his classics. People forget about it.
And then there's obviously with Nas, there's the infamous Untitled.
We're not going to talk about Untitled though.
All right. I liked Untitled.
I hated Untitled, man.
Did you? I actually enjoyed it.
I actually didn't mind it.
I liked
I couldn't stand Untitled.
it. Really?
But
Yeah.
What didn't you like about Untitled?
It was too much mainstream. Like I can deal with some mainstream in your music, but it was a little bit too much. It was too much mainstream. It was too much like the mainstream politics and stuff, and like the Chris Brown feature was horrible to me. Just that kind of stuff, and some of the beats. Which with Nas, beats are always an issue for the most part.
Beats are always going to be an issue with Nas.
Yeah, beats are always going to be an issue, except for on Distant Relatives. Distant Relatives was perfect sonically, in my opinion. But yeah, I just couldn't listen to it. Like there weren't any songs on there on Untitled that I just had to keep hearing over and over. I was like, I gave it a listen once or twice, and then I was done.
You know what? That makes sense. That makes sense because that's the same way Jay's Kingdom Come was for me.
Yeah, Kingdom Come. And you know what? People bashed the hell out of Kingdom Come. It wasn't that bad.
It was bad.
It was bad. It wasn't like I don't think that was his worst project. But it was better than people make it out to be. But it's the same situation as Untitled. There's nothing on it that make you have to go back and listen to it, other than maybe Beach House, because I thought Beach House is that what it's called? Beach Chair. I thought that was a really dope song.
That was good. Minority Report with Neo was pretty good too.
Yeah, Minority Report. I forgot about that one. Those are pretty good tracks. But yeah, I don't have to go back to that one at all. Do y'all think that Reasonable Doubt is Jay-Z's best project?
Blueprint.
You know what? It's my favorite, but not his best. Blueprint's his best.
Gotcha. You agree, Matt?
Yeah, I think Blueprint's his best.
Right. And Joe, being a Jay fan, did you listen to a lot of Nas, or did you go by the Twitter divide where you can only be a fan of one of them?
No, you know what? I own just as many Nas albums as I do Jay albums.
Same. Well, actually, I don't own more Nas.
But I am pissed off that I bought Street's Disciple.
Man, get over that. Street's Disciple. Dope.
No, that was awful.
No, it was not awful, man.
I was listening to Nas rap over his dad playing a damn kazoo saxophone.
Nostradamus, I Am. Those are his bad albums. And I think there's one more. I can't remember what the other one is.
Street's Disciple, that's what it is.
No. I disagree, dude. Street's Disciple is one of the better dual albums, man. And not many people can pull that off. As a matter of fact, speaking of, into the next topic, two artists that we didn't mention at all during this conversation, Tupac and Biggie. And the question is, are Tupac and Biggie overrated?
Dramatic.
Joe, since you dropped the tag,
Gangsta Grizzles!
I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, I'm split on this because I love Big, and I don't think Big's overrated at all. I think Pac's highly overrated.
Why?
Like, I do not care to listen to Tupac's music. Like, I do not care. Like, it has no replay value for me.
None.
Like,
none of it?
Like, none. Like, I don't care to listen to Tupac songs. Like, I haven't probably voluntarily listened to a Tupac song since college. And I've been graduated for 4 years.
That's sad. Oh,
it's
man.
just there's just too much. There's too much Tupac music.
And you don't think Big is overrated?
No, I don't think Big's overrated at all. We only got 3 albums from Big.
Yeah, I was gonna say Big was 3 records, 3 records.
Matt, your turn.
You know, I would say both of them are overrated compared to what you see people doing nowadays as far as construction value goes. But when it comes to their sound and what they did, they will never. They're not overrated in their time frame, and they are a seminal and important artist to remember in regards to the foundation of modern hip hop. I love Tupac. Like out of those two, Tupac is definitely my favorite. Biggie had better punchlines, and some witty rhymes, but Pac had a meaning. There was more fluidity in the records.
Pac rhymed Tennessee with everything.
Hey,
You
hey.
no,
Tennessee and my enemies, like in every song.
No, you can't complain about any kind of rhyming when you scream "Free Gucci" at the end of every podcast.
true that.
And you know what? I've listened to more Gucci Mane music voluntarily than Tupac, so that has to say something.
No, because you listen to more Gucci than Biggie too, so that doesn't say anything.
No.
Yeah, you do. Don't lie to me. You listen to more Gucci than both of them.
At a point, I listen to more Biggie than anything. At a certain point in my life, I listen to more Biggie than anything.
Gotcha. Matt, did you have more to say?
Not that I can remember.
Gucci will throw things off. I can believe that.
Like I hate. Ugh.
Burr,
I really don't understand how you like that dude. The dude is garbage, trash.
Absolute trash, man.
He is.
Y'all just
y'all
just don't like turning up. Y'all just don't like turning up.
I don't
That's all
find
it
any
is.
value in a Gucci Man record.
Gary, what's your opinion, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna side with Joe on this one because you know, I much prefer to, you know, throw on a Biggie joint. Because I recognize that Tupac's music, you know, it has a lot of deep meaning, a lot of power to it. You know, it's got a lot of messages in there, and you know, you gotta give him credit for all that because he did touch on a lot of bases in his music. But when it comes to just throwing on, you know, an album, Ready to Die, man, for me, like that's an incredible piece of work right there. As for them being overrated, I just feel like it's because of their death, you know, like because they both died and, you know, they was in this beef with each other and the media blew it out of proportion and everything that transpired. I feel like because of all that, they will always be, you know, held as the two kind of kings of hip hop,
Right,
you know,
the
no matter
martyrs of
what.
hip hop.
Yeah.
So I think that's why, you know, they seem overrated. But I don't feel like they were bad or anything. You know, I don't feel like it's right to say they're overrated. It's just, you know, the circumstances of their death. You know, that's why it will always be like that. Unfortunately, you know.
I'm sick of people. I'm sick of the conversation. Like it's been going on since I was in like 5th grade. You know, who's better, Tupac, Biggie, or then it was, are they overrated? And is it because of their death? And I'm like, I'm just kind of like, they're
It's
both great. They're both great for different reasons. I like one a little bit more than the other because it's more personal to me. And that's it just goes on forever in regards to that. Like this conversation is happening for years and years and years.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like whenever
I'm bored.
someone brings them up, it's always, oh, which one was better, instead of actually appreciating the music that they made, you know, individually.
Right, we can't talk about why Tupac was great without eventually running into the part of the conversation where you figure out who thinks who is better, Tupac or Biggie. Like the conversation in regards to those two artists almost always devolves down into that.
Like you have to be a fan. You have to be a fan of one or the other.
one.
You can't
Well, you
appreciate
can say
it.
both. Like you can say you really like both, but like I think at one point, and that was part of the media hype too, was you could only be a fan of one or the other. They were almost like teams. You know,
It was the Team Edward, Team Jacob of hip hop.
right. It was the that
Hey, man,
whole.
don't bring Twilight into this hip hop podcast.
I can't help it. I know too much pop culture stuff for work.
We'll save it for another podcast, man. We'll make one for you. But golly, I respect everything everyone has said, and I agree with you, Matt. It's a topic that does get run into the ground a little bit.
I don't think it's getting ran into the ground. I think it's getting tombstone pile drove into the ground.
Now I'm defensive because I'm the one that came up with this topic for the podcast. So you know,
But did
middle.
you really come up? But that's the thing. Did you really come up with it? Since we
No, I
talked about
didn't.
it all the time.
No. But I did bring it up because I wanted people to hear the perspective of more rational people than what you would normally hear Biggie and Tupac thing. Because like I brought it up at work.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like somebody was talking about Tupac, I think, and before I get into what was said, I am a fan of both of them.
Right.
Like I think if Biggie were alive, he could either be doing what he was doing, or he can be in battle rap destroying people. I don't think Tupac could be in battle rap.
No,
but,
Tupac definitely was not a battle rapper.
No, but I think Biggie could have done that. Tupac's influence and Biggie's influence are the things that are absolutely classic about them. They were fantastic, and just their effect on hip hop and what them existing has brought us is dope. Because I don't think Joe would have a Jay-Z if it weren't for Biggie. You know, stuff like that. Now on Tupac's,
a lot of new artists today, like
yeah,
Tupac was just his flow. Tupac's flow and Tupac, both of their flow were both copied for like the next 10 years.
yeah, exactly.
And nobody, I don't think anybody
can do it. Yeah, for either one. Like,
well, that's the thing. I don't think anybody can even touch. Like if they tried, like I don't think anybody has been able to touch Biggie's like storytelling.
I don't know.
Well, actually, I disagree. Yeah, I was gonna say there's actually some people that are pretty good storytellers, and I would say
like
they're better storytellers.
Yeah.
Maybe Scarface. Scarface is a pretty good storyteller.
He's a good one too.
Slug is one of the best storytellers out there right now.
Immortal Technique.
Watsky does stories too. He does them pretty well. The guy I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, and I don't listen to a lot of Immortal Technique, Gary, but the stuff I have heard is good. But I'd probably say Slug is the best storyteller. Matter of fact, I've had that conversation with a friend of mine, and we came down to Slug being the best storyteller in hip hop.
Yeah, I agree. Slug is the best storyteller in hip hop.
What was I going to say? Oh, with a caveat, and basically, for one, Nas and Jay-Z has become the new Biggie Tupac thing. You don't hear the Biggie Tupac as much anymore.
Right.
It's now you have to Jay, Nas and Jay.
Nas and Jay circulates on Twitter every 30 days.
Yeah,
like somehow you can be talking about something and it will go to Jay-Z versus Nas.
Yeah, every single time, no matter what it is, you're gonna have to be on Team Nas or Jay-Z. Like no matter what, it's ridiculous. Like I like Nas more than Jay, but I like them both. But I get into arguments with Nas fans because I didn't pick just the Nas side on Twitter. Like come on, like people are stupid, but. That's getting off topic a little bit. But with Tupac, what I told some of them, and you can agree with me or not, I don't think Tupac had classic albums.
Yeah.
He had classic songs for sure. Like I like Biggie's album more, Ready to Die, but I like a lot of Tupac's songs a lot more than Biggie's stuff.
And that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. Because like when I was in college, like I tried to be unbiased and I would try to listen to both of them because I always did this throwback segment on my Sunday night show, and I always tried to not be as biased as some people. So, but I can agree with that because there are Pac songs that I do like, I just don't listen.
Yeah, gotcha. But yeah, when I said that, like as soon as I said the part about him not having classic albums, they lost it. And then I asked them to name one, and the silence was hysterical.
I'm surprised none of them said Machiavelli.
They eventually did. They eventually did, and I was like, "You just saying that because you heard that? That's not actually." And when he said it, I was like, "Give me the track list, bro." And he couldn't, and I'm like, Machiavelli was good. It was not a classic album because I judge it on its influence and the fact that I can listen to it from beginning to end.
Honestly, if I want to go listen to Tupac, I just grab his greatest hits. And
exactly.
Great songs.
That's what you do. With Tupac, you listen to greatest hits. And with Biggie, you listen to
for every great Tupac song, you kind of have to weed through some yo, I'm a gangsta, bravado, black. Tennessee, yeah. You do have to sift through some of that. But there is some...
Exactly.
There's some classic, just some verses that'll absolutely make you think. Like Tupac was probably one of the few first musical artists that actually got me to like think about world and social issues. And as far as obviously I was still thinking about those things, but he was the first artist musically that would make me sit back and think about problems and things that we have wrong in the world today and how we can change them. And I loved his message, and I don't know, it was just great.
Word. I agree. By the way, my dad gave us 2 cents, and he was like, Tupac was dope, but nobody flowed like Biggie, which is pretty much reflective of what we said already. But yeah, man, those are some great topics, and I'm sure if we get this one out there, we're gonna get some comments, some interesting comments down below on this. But let's go ahead and get everybody's last statements. Joe, go ahead and get yours out of the way, man.
No, I'm changing mine this week because Jeezy was just arrested and he's on $1 million bail. Free Jeezy!
What was he arrested for? I saw somebody tweet about it.
He had an AK in his tour bus.
For what?
And they said that it's linked to a shooting that happened during the Wiz tour on Friday.
What?
Yep, they said that his I can't remember if it's an AK or just an assault rifle in general, but yeah, they said that it's linked to a shooting. The dude was shot like 5 times Friday and died.
And he kept it in his tour bus.
Yep, which makes perfect sense because Jeezy has an album coming out next week.
Anything for some PR, huh?
Right.
Yep.
God, these idiots, man. All right, Matt, final statement.
I don't know. I'm coming with a blank.
Yeah. All right, we can come back to you, Gary. Final word.
The Beauty of Independence is on iTunes right now, so go check it out.
Oh my goodness, you street team G unit right here. My final statement is to check the playlist every Monday. We just dropped week 6. It's got one of the Quest tracks on there. His last single before the album comes out, Search is Sylvan. And I've got a bunch of other people on there. Kimbe X, Alex Wiley is on there. Rich Boy from Alabama, who's been ghost forever. Rich Boy made an appearance on the playlist. Please check it out and tune in every Monday as we drop the playlist. And you can keep Gucci and Jeezy. I don't want them free.
We really don't want them. Like, yeah. That's
don't
my
like
final thoughts. Don't free any of them. You can keep them. We don't want them back.
Yeah. And another final thought. Nas is my favorite rapper, and I think he's the best rapper of all time. But legitimately, people that don't know Brother Ali need to
for sure. Oh my!
Right now, please go listen to him.
Before we sign off, I don't know if you guys saw this because it just popped up when we were podcasting. They officially disproved that your old Droog fella as not being Nas.
Wait, what?
That have you heard of him? His name's Your Old Droog, like Droog.
Nah.
Apparently, he put out an EP earlier this year, and everybody said that it sounded like Nas just on better beats. But it sounded like Nas with like a slowed down voice, I guess. And everybody.
So it's gonna be like some Captain Murphy type stuff.
Yeah, like they were pretty much saying that it's Nas under a pseudonym. But I guess it was on Two Dope Boys. They posted a video of him, and he said his name on there, and it's like some white kid.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna have to check him out anyway if he sounds like Nas. So let's see what happens. But Matt, did you think of something?
I was just thinking about Brother Ali. You should check out 2 records. Everybody should check out 2 records by him: Shadows on the Sun and The Undisputed Truth. And go watch Watsky shit. Like, definitely check this dude out. Watch his videos because his videos are really, really good.
And those 2 albums definitely got to check them. But like Morning in America, Dreaming in Color.
It was alright, and Us was okay. But for me, Brother Ali's peak are those 2 records.
Word, I hear you. All right, well, signing off. We'll see you all next week, barring any kind of issues. It's been Knights of the Turntable. Thank you for listening.